The summer of 2011 was full of adventures, and they all started shortly after graduation with this trip I took with my friend Katie to Baltimore. The drive up was good, if I remember correctly, when we weren't sitting in this, or this. This is off topic, but it's always amazed me that in just one trip, it's possible to be driving both underneath and over top of the same body of water. I've been in love with Baltimore since I was 12 years old. They call it Charm City, and it really takes no time at all to see why. It's just so... Oh my god, what was I doing? Oh, sorry about that. Can you tell that I was new at making videos back then? Anyway, we took our date to the Inner Harbor to poke around and dance, apparently. The harbor is one of my favorite places in the world, and that probably has something to do with all the boats. I just have a thing for boats, I guess. I mean, how could you not? Look at them with all their boatiness and their boat-type accessories. I really loved this. The sidewalks, they sport these little discs, which we geniuses didn't understand at first. Turns out they all say Heritage Walk in every language we knew, plus dozens of others. Eventually, we came across this statue that was permanently being let down by everyone around him. Personally, I can never turn down a high five.
Go. Do it. Do it. Do it.
At lunch, we had story time. I had a lemon poppy seed salad, and the lettuce, it kept like shooting the dressing up in my face and all over the table, and I figured out why. Because it's poppy seed dressing, so it just pops. It pops up. I was bragging about that pun for several hours after. After lunch, or maybe it was before, I don't really remember, we stopped at the coolest Barnes & Noble I've ever seen. It used to be a power plant back in the day, so there's these huge columns of power plantiness through the whole thing. After paging through a dirty biography of Clint Eastwood, we went to the huge children's section. Ignoring these creepy-ass nightmare faces staring at us, Katie and I played with the trains because underneath it all, we're basically 7. I allowed myself a bit of nostalgia for the fact that they're still selling stuff from my favorite kids' book before we danced our way to the aquarium. When we got there, we eavesdropped on this presentation, and I made another terrible, terrible pun. I feel like I need to apologize for this one in advance. So there's this presentation going on right now about snakes, and the lady's talking about how snakes stick out their tongue to smell things. So she asked everybody to stick out their tongue and asked them if they smell anything. And so I did. I smell something fishy, because we're in an aquarium, so there's fish. That one I was proud of for weeks afterward, if you can believe it. I originally planned on voicing over this footage with some lofty mumbo-jumbo about how while we were pressing our faces against the glass to stare at the beautiful and occasionally mustachioed creatures swimming around in circles, saying things like, "Look at the fish die!" We often live our lives just as the fish do, going around in circles in our own little bowls of water, living just to be observed and thought beautiful. And it was all very deep and philosophical, and it probably would have been pretty good too. But alas, there's been too much happening in my little brain in the months since for me to retain the whole spiel. But I guess you get the idea.